In this video, we are going to talk about how to make a marketing plan, a 2026 guide. As many of you know, I was on tour earlier this year. We did 2 stops in New York, Miami, Toronto, and in each place, we had 40 brands come in to do live workshopping around their marketing plans for the year. I ran through a series of 5 exercises, and we had brands from small independents all the way up to major airlines and activewear companies, software, workshopping how they can actually make a difference in this really complicated marketing climate. I'm going to walk through all of those same exact exercises here in this video. There's downloads to accompany this with all the worksheets we used. So even if you couldn't make it in person, you can still sit down and actually go through it. I highly recommend doing this with your notebooks out, actually walking through it for your brand or one of your clients, or just theoretically, and really going through the exercise to think about what you can do to make a difference in marketing this year. And then you can save this for any future time you're doing year or quarterly planning. They're a great set of exercises to do. I'm super excited because when I was on tour, I got to see the actual differences and problems that businesses had, what their problems are really dealing with versus just the things we see on the internet. It's a lot different in real life. And a big part of why I wanted to go was to be able to learn what challenges people actually have so that I have things to make content about that are really relevant to you. I feel like we've really nailed that here. Let's get into it. Lock in. So first up, if you missed last week's community call, you can see the recording and the downloads below as well. We will have another one coming up in March, so please get on the list for that. I love workshopping with you in person and online. It's one of my big goals for this year. Now, alternatively, if you want to see the new tour dates and you want to be a part of that tour coming up, Air, who put together this last one, and I are talking about what the next dates are. Let us know the markets you're in as we are trying to plan that actively. But let's start off by walking through the exercises that we're going to go through today. The first is we're going to walk through the brand's marketing funnel. Look at what are we good at today, what are we good at tomorrow, and explain the funnel in general. Then we're going to look at this chart of all the different marketing initiatives that are going on in the world and why you would consider doing them in a world where there's so many options now. And it's really hard to decide. We're going to show how the marketing funnel applies to content and the content funnel and why content and marketing are so aligned now. We're going to talk briefly about asset repurposing because we know not everyone has the ability to do more each year. Sometimes you have to do more with what you already have. And then we're going to go through your year planning calendar. So let's start with the marketing funnel exercise. And this is something I think any company, even an individual, if you market yourself or your service or your offer or you're a creator, should do. So if you aren't familiar with the marketing funnel, this is how people go from attention at the top. What does your brand do to generate awareness? How do you get more and more people aware of what you do? And how do you graduate them down through the funnel, get them educated on your brand and considering purchasing what you do, following you, etc., all the way to the bottom where they actually make the sale. And so the point of this exercise and how it works is that every brand should look at what are we doing right now at each of these 3 stages of the funnel. At the top, what do we do right now for awareness? How do we bring in attention? And then the key question is, are we actually good at it? Does this work for us? Same thing in the middle. If you're getting good attention, you bring people in with viral videos or ads, etc. Are you good at converting the attention you already get into people that are interested to buy? How do you educate? How do you nurture? How do they build affinity with your brand or your product, whether it's software or cosmetics? And then to the bottom, how are we getting the sale? Are we actually pushing people through the funnel down to a sale? And this is where I want to stop for a second and outline that funnels are very different for different businesses and for different creators, anything you do. So for instance, if you sell a very mainstream product, you sell Toyotas, you sell lipstick that every woman could use, you sell guys t-shirts, your top of funnel has a lot of potential to get to your bottom of funnel. You have a wide funnel. So a lot of people come in at the top, a lot of people can exit at the bottom if you're good because you have a big market for your products. So your job is to try and get a lot of people really educated and buying at the bottom, and you don't want to have a ton of drop off from the top of your funnel to the bottom. A lot of businesses are in a very different position where they have very specific people they want to buy. One of the people at our workshop was a software firm that sells only to ultra wealthy businesses with super high needs. Their contracts are 7 figures. And they're like, how do we play in this marketing funnel? We have such a small other end. And the difference is it's not actually that different. It's just that way less people come out the bottom. You need to figure out a way to reach your target demo. And maybe you can get ultra targeted with that, but for a lot of people, it's going to be somewhat wider. And you only care whether you reach 1 million people at the top or 100,000 at the top is how many people come out the bottom. Are you getting to the sale you want to get to? And it's an important concept to wrap your head around because some people may want to go wide to get to small. But in this exercise, we map out what do we do today for awareness? What do we do today to actually get people educated and build affinity with our brand? And so that could be anything from educational content to our email automation series to the logo repetition and ads so they're reminded of it, to what we do inside our community and events we hold, lots of middle of funnel content and marketing initiatives. To the bottom, how do we get people to convert? And the bottom I want to call out, and I have it here in the chart. What are you doing for SMS? You're texting people to buy. What are you doing for email? How's your sales reps operate? Do they have the right materials if you have a sales process? What are you doing on your Instagram stories? Are you pushing out sales stuff on your broadcast channels? There's a lot of bottom of funnel options. And for a lot of brands who are already getting decent attention but not converting enough, you should just focus 100% on this. And what I noticed inside this event is there actually were a lot of brands. We definitely skewed more towards bigger and enterprise brands that were at the actual workshops. That was their real problem, is they aren't selling hard enough. They're actually doing lots of top of funnel, but they aren't asking for money enough, and they aren't aggressively doing it or doing it in a way that's compelling for the consumer to want to engage in. So then on this chart, we go through what are we doing today, and then we map out where do we want to be tomorrow? What could we do? Are we doing great at top of funnel? Don't change anything. Are we doing great at the bottom? Don't change anything. Or do we want to update our strategy? So how do you decide what you want to update your strategy with? That's when we get to this chart, which I love, one of my fun ideas, which is the normie to fringe sales to awareness brand options chart. This is all of the marketing you could do, and it's listed on a scale. So on the left here, we have normie, things that you can get approved no matter how stingy your boss is, no matter how risk averse they are. That's normie. And this was one of, I think there's probably 3 key topics that came up on tour. One was, how do you structure our team nowadays? That was a big one that came up. I'm gonna do a video on later. The second was this, how do I get stuff approved? That was a huge thing that came up. And we just did a Brand Fathers pod about this last week. And the third one was basically this, how do we decide what to do in all of these initiatives? And so I've put this chart together. It's not perfect. You may feel that certain things would be in different places, but really it's designed to say, what can I easily get approved and anyone could do on the normie side? On the fringe side, it's what can I do to be at the bleeding edge? I might want to make a bet on that. I will bet my career. I can advance in my career by being ahead of it. I will bet my company. I can compete with people that are slower, can't get things approved by being on the edge. And then where are our focuses, right? Because sales and awareness are very different goals. If you are a business, smaller business, you're probably hyper focused on sales. You say, we need to get sales to grow. We can't waste our time on awareness. And you're right. But then for a lot of brands, they reach a cap. They go, we've had all this marketing that's been so measurable for so long. We've run our Meta ads, we've run our Google ads, we do email, we sell into these accounts, and we've hit a threshold. We just can't get any larger. And this is a hard point for a lot of businesses. And we discussed this in depth because so many businesses have hit this. It's usually between $30 and $50 million where you go, oh my God, all this stuff that got us here was measurable, was safe. The CFO liked it, CEO liked it. Marketing was extremely mathematical. But to get to that next level, you have to make a jump. The awareness level is a plunge of faith, and you cannot scale beyond some of those numbers that you hit without taking that plunge into, we have to look at marketing more holistically. We have to get into awareness. And if you're in this position, every business is in this position. I've been in businesses that have fallen apart in this position. But bring them this video. Tell them there are dozens and dozens of firms that we met with in the last few weeks that are at that point where like, we need to scale. We need to go into awareness. Everyone feels it's too risky. How do we balance that? And for a lot of people, it's just assigning percent of the marketing budget. Yes, we do the same thing we used to do, and we're doing that with 9% of the 14% we spend on marketing, or whatever that ratio is for your business. But what you'll notice is you start doing more of that awareness, it increases the efficacy of what you do on Meta. It increases the efficacy of what you do in wholesale. And you can't measure it the same way you can measure a Meta flow, but it's important to think about. So calling out some of the things on here, you know, in this normie sales corner, wholesale selling into retail, email marketing, Google ads, Meta ads, YouTube ads, cold outbound, where you're just reaching directly out to businesses for your leads, you know what those are. Going over here into fringe sales, if you're putting creators on your accounts, that is a slightly more sales-driven marketing approach. Are you running ads on TikTok? Are you seeding, sending out free product in the hopes of getting posts? Do you run an affiliate program? Is ultra sales focused but more fringe? You're doing affiliate on TikTok Shop, or if you're doing affiliate for software. SMS, people are still afraid of SMS. I cannot recommend more something like One Text, no sponsor relationship. They have card on file SMS text. It's an incredible piece of software. AppLovin, a lot of toxic shills on Twitter who don't disclose their AppLovin relationships, who have talked about this, but it is still a channel that you can scale in the same way as Meta. It's just weirder. And then live selling. Can you get on TikTok, whatnot, but you're actually selling and generating profitable lives on your own channels or with creators? That covers the sales end. Again, there's more on this. Take your own initiatives, and put them on this chart. Move things to where you think they are. I'm not acting like this is the end-all Bible. Now let's go into awareness. So LinkedIn posting is more of awareness focused. Going to trade shows, hyper awareness focused, unless they're really tied into wholesale. Instagram and TikTok, organic social. influencer kind of straddles that line. I'd argue it's slightly more awareness focused. And then more into fringe. Are you doing organic YouTube? That's pretty rare. But obviously you'll see people like, I've made a lot of videos on the Air channel. That is them doing organic awareness on YouTube. X, godforsaken X. If you're doing something more like a social show, you have a multi-account strategy on social media where you have 5 or 6 Instagram accounts, clipping, you have a snap strategy, and then I put streaming at the other end. Different than live selling, but the reason I want to call this one out is say you are a brand that's really hyper-focused on Gen Alpha, and when Gen Alpha becomes consumers, and they consume a lot through streaming, you may not get a lot of sales right now, but I'd be terrified. If I was Right Guard, if I was Under Armour, if I was anyone who had traditionally had a college audience, they don't give a shit about any of the traditional brands they had. They only care about what's in their own infrastructure and culture. That's why you see brands like Jake Paul's W pop up. And I would be saying, man, we have to do a 3-year investment in streaming to gain relevancy as an awareness play. It's a good example of fringe awareness to be able to own a niche. So once you've used it, once you've run through this brand options chart, you can go back up and basically say, what are we going to do? And realistically, for 90% of businesses, what you're going to do is just do the existing things that you do better. That's going to be the primary. But if you are a business in a place where you want to add more, two is kind of the maximum things that the team, even if you have a big ass team, can really do and execute well, even in like a 6-month period. I would be putting those on here for the year. And I would say, where are they at? Is this initiative helping our top of funnel? Is it helping our bottom? Is it helping our consideration? Don't ignore the middle, even though my chart was more focused the other way. Where do we need the most help? What are 1 to 2 initiatives that we can add on here? And then you actually map that out. And now you have basically the top end of a plan. So now it's up to you if you want to do these other 2 stages, what order you want to do it. But this is the content funnel, which is basically looking at social media the same way. What do we do on Instagram to get more attention? What do we do on TikTok to get more attention at an awareness level? What puts up views for us? What do we do at the middle to educate? And then what do we do at the bottom? And my content pillar system, where it says we have 3 to 5 types of content as a brand we put out at any given time. Look at your pillars, and every brand has it. Whether you think you do or not, you probably already have 3 to 5 types of content. So a pillar would be a format plus a topic. We do green screen breakdowns. We do vlogs for behind the scenes. We do carousels of our e-commerce photos. Any one of those things that you repeat regularly each in a month is a pillar. And if you don't have those, you can go through the exercise of designing them. Yes, we want to do these pillars, and that's part of this. You take those pillars and you map them to the funnel. Does this pillar participate in top of funnel, in middle of funnel, or bottom of funnel? Let me do this as an example for my own content. My product versus brand content is top of funnel. I do product reviews primarily for my top of funnel content as a creator. That gets me a lot of views. I get millions of views regularly breaking down what products I think people should buy, how marketing works. That brings me people that are likely interested in marketing. That's my real target demographic. People that are interested in marketing and branding. They are also interested in what they buy and why. So that's the top of my funnel. Then in the middle, I do lots of marketing educational videos, a lot of content you've watched, where I'll talk about why truffles were changed as a concept, or these 5 brand campaigns, or let's break down how influencer marketing changed in 26. That's my middle of funnel. I'm educating. Not everyone graduates from product reviews down there. That's completely fine, but it gets me my target demographic in the middle. And then at the bottom, I have brand deals, and I have stuff that drives to my email list, and that is my bottom of funnel content. My pillars reflect that. So what you would want to do is look at the pillars you have today and assign a grade to them. Do we do them well, especially versus the field that you're at, comparative to other businesses in our niche? And then in general, what are we doing? A through F. We're doing good, we're doing bad. And then you can look at how is that mapped to the funnel? How's our top of funnel on social today? Okay, is it a C? How is our middle of funnel? Okay, that's a B. Most brands are pretty decent at middle of funnel. And then bottom of funnel, how are we asking for the sale? How are we driving KPIs? Are we using ManyChat for comments to drive people to our email list? Do we sell well on stories? Do we really leverage retargeting in our organic content in paid? What are we doing on bottom of funnel? And it might not always be related to content. You might have to have this conversation in tandem with your market. Then look at tomorrow. What do we want our pillars to be? What could they be? What content could we create? How do we take these grades higher? And how do we map our content to the funnel higher? And that's the conversation you want to go workshop. And then most importantly with this, a lot of people have great social ideas. Who's going to do it? What's the action that we want to get a creator on our main account? Who's going to do it on the team? Yeah, Shelby's going to do it. Carl's going to do it. An important exercise to work through. And then we're going to map this to the calendar. And this is an excellent exercise everyone should do. Creator, brand of any size, is go through the calendar for the year. First line, I do this by quarter and by month. What's happening in culture? So for instance, in February, I had it mapped out that the Super Bowl is there, Valentine's Day is there, and the Olympics is there. And I make content about each of them. And it was really important content for me to be able to be capturing the zeitgeist. And my Super Bowl content put up millions of views. I was probably the biggest marketing creator participating in that moment and got the most out of it of anyone because I was prepared for it. And then I look at my own content for culture going on. We have the World Cup coming. Am I going to participate in that? I decided not to do All-Star weekends. I didn't think there was going to be enough virality around it. November, I have buying season. I'm just mapping out what's happening in culture, back to school, all these things you could participate in. Then you have your industry. So for instance, when I worked in camera drones, NAB was a huge show at our industry. It's a broadcast show where people go buy cameras and then retailers go to buy products they're going to stock on their shelves in the camera space. So we've always had NAB as a big thing. CES in Las Vegas. Those are industry events. So in your industry, are there interior design shows or fashion shows or cosmetic shows or things that your consumer goes to? Coachella might be an industry show technically for you if you sell a certain type of product. And where do they lie? Then go through your sales heat map. Pull up your Shopify data. What months did you do well? And look at your goal. What month did we exceed goal? What month were we under goal? And map. We usually, in the downloadable version of this, it's all white. We usually shade it or red, yellow, green it. And then really look at, okay, if you hit your sales goal, why did we hit it? Is there something that we have to replicate? Because a lot of people will hit it and they assume they hit it the next year, but don't do the same actions. So you actually write out on this chart, hey, we hit it because we did a flash sale or because we had this massive order or whatever it was. Note it, or we had a successful social campaign. Okay, how can you repeat that? Same thing with social. When did we shine on social? And then when were we down? And then you can look at both, how do we repeat what we did? And then how do we fill the holes? And then here you can go through your actual launches. When do you plan to launch product? Do you want to move that because of what's happening in culture or your industry or last year's data? And you can work through whenever I'm going to launch my collections or our new product or this new PDF. And I would highly encourage you, even if you're an agency, we're going to launch a new service or a new offer or a new showcase. That's a launch. Think like you're marketing. I do this as a creator. I have launches. I launched a new series. I'm going to Japan and then we're likely going to launch new products. Like there's a lot of that is the way to think about it. And then last, one thing that we added while we were doing this tour was, what did we miss out on? So you can often note last year, your team will have been in Slack, whatever it is. You'll be like, man, we really should have done X, but then you never have a time to do it. This is your moment to critically think back, go through your Slacks or your teams and be like, okay, what did we miss out on? Like, let's try to hunt down some of those things so we know. So now you have your marketing funnel, your content funnel, your brand options, your calendar matrix. Two other ones that I'm going to zoom through quickly that you're going to have in this packet is asset repurposing. A lot of people are like, we don't have budget to do more. How can you do more with what you already have? And so this outlines the flow of your internal assets, things you get from creators or influencers or sending free product. What are all the things you can do with them? And then developing a system to track them is a really useful exercise if you can't create more, but you want to make sure you're doing the most and you're putting it on your PDPs and your emails. And this is a great way to really task a marketing team, especially if you have people you feel are under-tasked, to make sure they're doing actions with things you already have that can result in better middle of funnel, bottom of funnel conversion for you. And then last is this campaign planning. I have a whole video on campaigns, so I'm not going to dive into this deep, but this is a worksheet based on that. In that campaign video, I break down how you need to have a teaser, how you need to unveil, how you need a lot more content than you think, how you need BTS, how you need to then sustain your campaign. There's a whole video on it, but this is a worksheet you can now use for how to think about it. And the key topic that I will tell you here is you need to plan about internal and external for your campaigns. Internal, what do you do with your content team, your email list, etc. But every good campaign also has external. Who are you getting involved in the unveils, or a creator you can have? Can you collab on the campaign launch? Are you seeding that product out? How do you get media involved? And can you map that? You should probably have a 50-50 emphasis on where your internal promotions go and how much external promotion you can have as well. Doing this in person was an entire day. It was like basically 4 hours of workshopping, panels, sitting down in small groups. I'm not going to give you the 4-hour version of this, but you have these worksheets. These are how to use them. If you are a marketer or creator, you now have this in your toolkit. Run this for your brand. It's something you can expand on in your career. If you want to learn more about this and learn more about strategy, or you want to train people in your brands, we did bring our new creative strategy program, very similar to what I do in Cut 30, but it's for marketing and brand strategy for marketers that want to become weapons, brands that want to train their people on modern. We have brought that out of beta and we are back running, so the applications for that are below. That is something if you are at a more substantial level in your career you can tap into. You can grab all these docs for free down below. Big shout out to Air who put on the tour, and we have lots of images and graphics included from that as we went through this YouTube. If you have questions on the marketing planning process, any of this below, please drop them and I'll be happy to answer. And we will be doing another community call in March where we can do it live. Thank y'all so much for watching. Appreciate you.